internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. Yep, things are about to get monumental. I really hope you are strapped in. When I use the term retail is priced out of XRP, a lot of people bash me for it, saying no, they could still buy it. But realistically speaking, the mass accumulation opportunity is over. Your average individual that is just getting into this ecosystem is not going to accumulate unless they go all in one. Because when you come into this ecosystem, 99% of the people are not going to be convinced enough to put all their money into one asset. Soon, when XRP goes from $3.50 to $100, it's even going to get worse. Like, owning XRP is only going to be the 1%. You do understand that. Like, there's going to be a point, and some of you guys may say, well, you know what? It's starting to look like that point. Wait before you say anything. I got something I got to show you. I got an image to show you. Look at it, and you tell me if retail is priced out in the comments down below. But first, I got to bring this to your attention. A patent that was previously pending, okay, is now being active. So this patent was being revised 8 months ago. And I'm going to break it down in the video in a moment. But it was now listed, the status, as active. And what they adjusted was their expiration date. Meaning this patent went through an audit and they went through everything and they adjusted the expiration date. But when you go further into this patent, and let's take a look at this, 2039. This is for the long game, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where Ripple, as you guys could see in the patent, Ripple for settlement. And it has the interledger communication protocol. And then the blockchain settlement, e.g. Ripple. Folks, there are so many patents. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And remember the interledger communication protocol.
Now, the unified ledger is not one ledger. There could be multiple ledgers. There are multiple ledgers of different technologies. So it's not saying use only Ethereum or this or that. It can be any underlying ledger. And there will be protocols for interledger transactions. So you can build a very high volume, low cost transaction system, being able to do billions of transactions of different kinds of assets, tokenized, but all transacted in the same way. This is a very important point, that no matter which asset class it is, I can convert it to a standard way of doing things, and then use the standard token engine for doing it. Because one thing we have learned is when you unlock friction, you have an explosion of market usage.
Has everyone thought about why you get paid once a month or once every 2 weeks? It comes down to the friction of payments. And if we can remove the friction of payments, why can't you get paid every day? As we remove the friction of payments and make that dramatically easier.
Because one thing we have learned is when you unlock friction, you have an explosion of market usage.
Billions, 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 billions. And wait until I break this down to you. When I made this video, XRP was at 59 cents. And when you listen to this video, I watched this twice. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, just how good the information was. And this video did not get a lot of views, okay? It did not get a lot of views. So listen very carefully when I break this down and what is being set up behind the scenes. Like I said, at the time it was 59 cents. Now it's at $3.51. These are monumental bottoms here, okay? And XRP on the 4-hour is looking very bullish. But let's see how it plays out in the next coming 36 hours. But it is due for it's uncertain right now. We are going to see a move, like within maybe when I upload this video, maybe 12 hours from now, but we are going to see a move for XRP. It is coiling up as we make this video. But take a look at this for a moment, okay? And let this really sink in. People that are coming in right now investing $1,000 into XRP are going to get only 282 XRP. 282 XRP. And on an average number, I'm going to put 50 cents per XRP when people were buying back then. If you were to put $1,000 into XRP, you would have got 2,000 XRP. So I want to give you the small number here first, and then you could do the calculations after. In order for the individual that's getting into the ecosystem right now and putting $1,000 into XRP, as you guys could see, today's price, 282 XRP. When XRP goes to $100, they're only going to have $28,000 in 28,000. The individual that bought XRP for $1,000, put $1,000 in when it was at 50 cents, they got 2,000 XRP. And when XRP goes to $100, they're going to have 200,000. Look at the difference in that. Okay, that is a huge, huge move. And here, are you ready to get mind blown? The individual that just put $1,000 in today, for them to get a return of $200,000, they need to hold that 282 XRP, and they have to wait until XRP goes to $700 for them to have a $200 ROI. Okay, these are just round numbers, just to give you guys the perspective of when I say people are priced out on a mass scale, on mass accumulation. It is going to be extremely difficult. Let's say you're coming in with $3,000 and you buy at today's prices. You don't even get 1,000 XRP for 3,000. And if you bought at 50 cents, you would have got 6,000 XRP. And at $100 XRP, you would have $600,000. And when XRP, you have $84,000. You don't even have six figures when XRP goes to $100 for the people that are getting in right now, right? And then let's just jump to, if someone is coming in with $10,000 and they're convinced in XRP, okay, they're convinced, they're studied XRP, they know how the value drivers for the future, and they put $10,000 into XRP, they're only going to get 2,000 XRP. Do you see that? Do you see how huge this is? And that is why the XRP holders are the new 1%. Okay, so 10,000 will get you 2,000 XRP, and when XRP goes to $100, that's only $281,000. I mean, it's still good. It's still, somewhat good for 10,000, but for the early individuals, for 10,000, that would have been 20,000 XRP, and that's a $2 million return. Like, do you see what I mean by people are priced out on mass scale, on mass accumulation opportunities? You have to be extremely wealthy coming into this ecosystem, and you have to be 100% convinced in what you are investing into. Remember, Bitcoin right now, no average person is going to come in right now and buy a Bitcoin for $112,000 or $19,000, $117,000, $118,000, okay? And that's the stupidest thing you could do right now. Nobody should be buying Bitcoin right now. Nobody. If you are not, and this is a real lesson I could get, right? If you're coming into this ecosystem with, let's say, 500K capital, sure, put 100K into Bitcoin. If you want to look at it from an institutional perspective and really create a, conservative portfolio. Okay, you could afford to put 100K into a Bitcoin and just have under one Bitcoin against a hedge against your $400,000 worth of other altcoins, right? But if, not everybody is coming in with $500,000, is what I'm trying to say. It's like Bitcoin, no average person should be buying Bitcoin. Stop. If you are accumulating Bitcoin right now, and it's the dumbest thing you could do, okay? Just please take my word for it. I own Bitcoin. I'm bullish Bitcoin, but guess what? I've worked in the financial district for 10 years in various positions, private banking being one of them. And I'm telling you right now, buying Bitcoin is the stupidest thing you could do right now, okay? And don't take my word for it. Listen to what other people have to say in the comments down below, what your perspectives are. Let me know. But I really hope that kind of gives you a little bit of an insight when I say people are priced out. And now listen to what was said 8 months ago about this patent, of how everything is going to get started. And I've been giving you guys warnings. And remember, I don't go crazy and try to hype things up if something isn't actually going to happen. But something enormous is about to happen. We are on the verge of a monumental move, and wow, truly, it's going to be crazy. XRP is going to be a household name. And take a listen to this. This is absolutely insanity. The information we're going to go over in today's episode is new to me. There has been an update on a patent which is going to completely blow your mind, because we actually have hardcore evidence of it being active, and now it is pending, and it is with WorldPay. Wow, we have come such a long way, and we are finally about to see the floodgates open, and individuals are going to miss out on this opportunity thinking this is just like last time, but it truly isn't. And we got a lineup for you guys today that is gonna, like I said, blow your mind. This is crazy. First of all, I want to play a clip. I want to set the tone by a video by Bart Stevens, however you want to pronounce it. He is currently the founder and managing partner at Blockchain Capital LLC for 11 years, since 2013. And Bart is one of the most established and active VC investors in the blockchain technology industry. And he has been doing this since 2013. And listen to what he says here when he talks about trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions are about to come into this ecosystem. And keep in mind, Ripple also invested $25 million in XRP to Blockchain Capital back in 2018. Okay, so there's a lot here behind the scenes that's going on. And before I play the clip, listen to what was said back in 2018. With its largest fundraising round to date, Blockchain Capital now manages $250 million in assets with companies including the likes of Coinbase, Kraken, Circle, and notably Ripple under its investment portfolio. And the investment will also provide an opportunity to identify new use cases for the XRP ledger and interledger protocol. Ripple's announcement added, pointing out to applications of both open source platforms and areas beyond just payments. And now listen to what he says here, and then we're about to go over information here that's, like I said, is going to have your mind just go crazy. Like, wow, how is this possible? What is really happening behind the scenes? But listen to this.
Because there is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on the sideline that's just waiting for some clarity. I sometimes go in and I'm pitching these very conservative organizations like a bank or a sovereign wealth fund, and they're like, well, Bart, why should we have any crypto at all? And I'm like, I think it's super irresponsible to have zero exposure. We're like, so let's talk about sizing of a portfolio. And if you want to buy Bitcoin, fine, or Ethereum, fine, or if you want to invest in one of our funds, that works too. But this is the fastest growing asset class in tech in history. If you want to look at Bitcoin or Ethereum and all the related companies like Kraken and Coinbase and Ripple and Anchorage and others, disclosure, I'm an investor in all those companies. It got first to $1 trillion, faster than Meta, faster than Google, faster than Apple, faster than Cisco. And this industry is here to stay. It's not going to be uninvented. It's global.
These companies are going to be the fastest to $1 trillion company. They're even telling you this, okay? And in my opinion, you would be crazy if you're not at least 70% crypto, 30% stock. I mean, stocks I would not even own. Not financial advice, but I am 99% crypto. Stocks are the biggest Ponzi scheme ever, and you're pretty much at the top of the bubble when you have a crypto ecosystem that is at ground zero. Come on. I mean, I can't make that any more, clearer to understand. And now take a look at the lineup for Ripple Swell. Incredible. The featured speakers: Adrienne Harris, New York State Department of Financial Services, but we're going to go over backgrounds, and then we're going to bring up Sheila Blair. This is crazy. I really want to know what's being talked about those closed doors. Adrienne Harris was previously at the White House, Special Assistant to the President for Economic Policy, where she created a framework for fintech and established and pretty much looked over their DLT task force.
So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system.
Would you take a look at that? And then she was also the senior advisor to the deputy secretary at the U.S. Department of Treasury. And we have her on a panel with Brad Garlinghouse at Ripple Swell. Sheila Blair is where things get very, very interesting. Listen to this. Twice named by Forbes magazine as the second most powerful woman in the world, she is perhaps best known as chair of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, that is the FDIC, from 2006 to 2011. When she steered the agency through the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. For her leadership of the FDIC, she was awarded the JFK's Library Profiles and Courage Award. And she steered the agency through the worst financial crisis. And remember what they said at the World Government Summit, where they're going to be transitioning everything over to blockchain.
We're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
And we are going to be in fucking control of it.
And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain.
And what if we see a little bit of a crisis when everything transitions and then there is like this big volcano? But it gets better in terms of connections, and these individuals are all in this together. Because Miss Blair, she is the founding chair of the Systemic Risk Council. And when we talk about systemic, some of you guys may have already thought about exactly what I'm about to say. Sandy O'Connor at the FDIC, and she's also currently board of directors at Ripple for almost 4 years. And look, she is the Systemic Resolution Advisory Committee member. And she's been there, currently present, for 4 years and 2 months. And here's her little biography on the FDIC website, Sandy O'Connor. Systemic Resolution Advisory Committee. And then we have Sheila joining the panel with Brad Garlinghouse at Ripple Swell, where they steered, like, are you seeing this? They steered the agency through the worst financial crisis with this whole systemic resolution. And we have two individuals in the same ecosystem at the FDIC, all within Ripple, deeply penetrated.
I'm gonna come. That's what she said.
And things are about to get better.
That's what she said.
You think it couldn't have gone better? It can. Take a look at this.
That's what she said.
Before I play this, before I get into this patent, you guys have seen this before with WorldPay LLC. I want to give you a little bit of a insight of how far we have come. This clip is almost 8 years old, and this is a WorldPay representative. And look where we are today in 2024, and this is going to shock you how this status is pending. But listen to what he says here.
No, I mean, I think we've been in that place. I mean, WorldPay started life as an independent company only 4 years ago. Before that, we were part of a bank. I mean, we've spent more than £1 billion getting ourselves out of that technology of the 1970s and building a next generation platform. But I actually think the thing that most people don't realize, especially from where we're sitting, is actually just how complex, complicated, and fragmented the world that we live in still is. And, you know, with new innovation coming and new payment types emerging, new currencies emerging, and entirely new systems, actually it's becoming more complicated, not less at the moment.
And we are pretty much at the end of this marathon, and that is why we have patents being granted this year and then being backtracked, and now is being pending, and they're adjusting it. Remember this video? I did this a month ago. And this patent, the one that we're looking at right here, says pending, but was previously, as you guys could see at the bottom here, maybe I'll bring this a little bit lower, active. You can't really see it because I didn't go down in the video.
That's what she said.
But this patent was active. And now it is being relooked at. I don't know what's happening. Again, it doesn't tell you exactly what's happening. But in that patent with WorldPay And you guys just heard what WorldPay was talking about, 8 years ago.
And, with new innovation coming and new payment types emerging, new currencies emerging, and entirely new systems.
In 2024, they made it very clear in their patent, and they even referred to blockchain network for settlement, and they used Ripple as an example, along with interledger communication. Here we have the shared ledger, 212A, keep that in mind, and then we have the ICP plugin, and then we have the blockchain network for settlement, and then referring to Ripple. But the ICP plugin, the shared ledger, okay, this is 212A, includes but not limited to real-time gross settlement systems, RTGS, like Ripple.
System. It's called RTGS. The central bankers in the room all oversee similar ones. What we're doing is we're reforming that so that it is a plug-and-play system,
which facilitate currency or cryptocurrency exchange and remittance via a network. And then if we go into the ICP, right, that is the interledger communication protocol. And if you guys remember what Chris Larson said years ago,
mid 2014, when we first had that realization, to October 2015, when the white paper for Interledger came out, where we tried to kind of put all the pieces in place for it.
Because Ripple always was different from Bitcoin in that you could put anything of value in it, right? So this idea of kind of, we would call it IOUs or balances, but really being value agnostic, and that then being the engine for the exchange of that thing of value. But having the combination of ILP with XRP, we think that's kind of the killer formula.
Yeah, so now you can have any type of value, like any currency, right, but also any type of ledger. So like anything from a centralized ledger to a blockchain.
You have everything right here at your fingertips, okay, being spoon-fed to you, and you see the importance of this information and how everybody with Sheila Blair, Sandy O'Connor from the FDIC, now we're at a panel at Swell, they all know each other. You think Sheila and Sandy don't know each other? Absolutely they do. Come on, okay? Like, this is what I mean. I've experienced this myself. When you work in such big industries like this, you guys, you meet each other, okay? You all come across one way or another. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But we are truly at the tipping point. And you heard them say, early investors into Ripple and Kraken and Coinbase verbally telling you, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions are on the sidelines about to flood this market.
Because there is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on the sideline that's just waiting for some clarity.
Only a few individuals are going to grasp onto that information and actually take that as legitimate, and it is legitimate. We're about to see the unimaginable. This ecosystem, $2.14 trillion. Oh my goodness. 3, 4, 5, 6.
But I think the idea of buying and holding forever and not trying to make adjustments requires that you've gotten it right in the first place. That you can only hold tight if you've bought right, if you will. And that is to say, have an asset allocation that has something to do with how many years you have to accumulate money, how much resources you have at stake, how much income you need, and how much courage you have to ride out the peregrinations of the market.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad knew just what to do. Now XRP hums like jazz, running smooth and true. Money's changing, systems bend. Ripple flow into the end. Truth is quiet, bold and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute to the calm, to the wise. Salute 100 in our eyes. stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Salute, salute, where the real ones choose to go. Salute, salute, to the heart, to the plan. Salute, XRP will lead the land. Value don't lie, and truth don't shake. Let the whole world break, we remake. Strategic reserve, written in stars. XRP gonna take us far. So here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.